Welcome back in, everybody, to this first series of the day. One move, well, their one move in that first game was just to completely destroy Darkside, and now Darkside on the back foot. And I mean, yeah, coming into this series, I was like, okay, Darkside pretty comfortable. They're definitely going to be just like that mid-table. That slot is secure. But like you said, Hurry, that it doesn't take much for it all to go all askew, and Darkside being pulled into a relegation fight here if one move do take this series.
Yep, one move. They probably feel the hype right now. But the hype of them feeling it's not the biggest thing. Is the pressure that Dark Sides feel. Imagine
Mhm.
Soneko and Ramses. We talked about it before. Before we even got into the first games. These two players, they're known, with having high egos, wanting discipline from their teammates and stuff like that. And what happens when everything falls apart? When you're this close to losing to a team that hasn't won a single game, and then, if you
Whoa, whoa,
lose
whoa,
your
whoa,
next
whoa, whoa,
series,
whoa. I will not have that slander against one move. They won
a
two
single
games.
series,
They
a
did not
single
win a
series. Sorry,
series. Yeah.
sorry. I apologize. Okay, haven't won a single series, and your next game is against Hellraisers, right?
Mhm.
And one move's next series is against the other team who hasn't won a single series. You know that you're close to relegation, and you have these two guys, these two big names that were always regarded as, when you're their teammate, you need to listen, right?
Yeah.
If there comes like a battle, a little bit of a spark between them, it could be their downfall. Hopefully it doesn't happen, and we see Darkside at their best.
Yeah, and we do know that they have that in them. I mean, taking that game up against Boom, who are again one of the favorites, if not the favorite, coming into the Eastern European Tour in, was it 41 minutes? Okay, they got stomped in 16 minutes right afterwards, but taking two games to 41 minutes and 54 minutes in that series shows that they do have it in them. And where they sit, again, the teams that they've come up against, BP is the one questionable. We talked about it before that first game. VP is the one questionable one, but VP do have that in them to surprise whoever they come up against. Darkside, though, they do want this series. They need this series to be in with, just to move themselves up the table, get themselves over VP there as well, because Virtus Pro sitting on 3 wins and 2 losses. That's still comfortable for them. I do think that makes them, again, safe, Virtus Pro, there from relegation, and they have the chance to leapfrog um, either Team Spirit or Hellraisers to take that second or third slot in the major, because Virtus Pro have Na'Vi left and Team Spirit. So if they can pull it out the bag against Team Spirit and Na'Vi, Team Spirit might find themselves in trouble of not making it to the major. But that's for another time.
Yep, that definitely is for another time. Currently, we are looking at these two, and after that game, Rob, in the time between it, you said now you believe in one move all the way. Like, are
Oh,
you still
absolutely, yeah.
are you still
One
there?
until the shot to my heart in the second game. If the shot, if they break my heart, I am 100% aboard the one move hype train in this series now.
I'm gonna assume you're just lazy and you don't want to do a 3 game series. That's what I'm gonna call you out on that one for sure. That has to be the reason.
I mean, I could do an early dinner if that's on the table, but that's not the reason. Again, one move. We've seen them, these sparks. These matches where they do look like they're going to be able to turn it around and take the series and push it through to a game number 3 in some series, or even take the series completely, and then they just fall a little bit short. So I just want, it's just a feel good factor here for one move to take, at least everybody gets at least one series here in the Eastern European DPC.
Okay. So it's the food, guys. Just for the
Yeah,
viewers, every single break, food Rob is eating. I don't know how he doesn't have like 20-30 kilos above what he is currently at, because he is just smacking it out all the time. But yeah, anyways, I'm thinking we're going to a game 3 here.
yeah.
Darkside, when they're backed to a corner, they tend to pull out their best performances, right? That's pretty much what happened to one move here as well. So I'm hoping that maybe I'm hoping as well. But I think coming into the series, I still see as Darkside as the favorites. If one
Mhm.
move win the series, it is still an upset from my point of view. And I think Darkside are just gonna take a different approach. They're gonna get heroes that aren't that good at controlling areas, because we can see certain problems with them understanding how and when to move, because it's definitely a harder way to play Dota. But I rather think they're gonna be going for the approach, let's just kill them, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that's gonna be the way they take this game. And with that kind of approach, I think one move could have a little bit of a problem because they are a little bit on the slower side. For sure, looking at some of the other teams who tend to play a little bit faster, one move tend to want to slow down the game.
Yeah, and we have talked about how they seem to prioritize playing through the mid lane as well. So if I'm credit, I mean, there was some good rotations in the early parts of that game where it didn't involve having to back Ankred up. Yeah, Ankred was pressured as well. I think that was the big thing, that the tier 1 tower was pressured by Roger on the Enchantress by the Death Prophet exorcism in that mid lane coming in so early on that forced Ankred to look for rotations off the lane. But he looked incredibly comfortable in that first game, even when he was being pressured. He found the split push coming through with that shard on the Snapfire, so able to clean up the creep wave with the molten cookie. And I think one move in this, they played to a level of synergy that I don't think I've seen so far, even in the games that they've pushed close. Even in that 75-minute game up against Batboom, I don't think they looked as consistent as they did in that first match.
No, they looked solid. I'd say they looked pretty solid, though. To me, it looked like they weren't pressured enough. I like the Boots of Travel as well. I think the Boots of Travel on Aincrad and later on down the line on Afterlife were a big part of it as well, because they were seeing that the Terrorblade Illusions weren't enough to push out the waves. So then you use the two heroes that aren't naturally like the greatest at pushing out the waves, hiding in the jungle. You get a Blink and the Boots of Travel on one, and you have it naturally on the other, on the Doom, and you're just making sure that the lanes are pushed out. So yeah, I think those were also big parts of them making the space, making the time before the big fight really did break out.
Yeah, and we see that. I mean, again, the Death Prophet does come out, the Timing, the Treant ban out, the Broodmother and the Lena, so not going to be letting through the Brood, who I don't think we've seen. We might have seen one or two matches, but it does seem to be the ever-present ban here in every single region. Apart from last night, where Liquid got it 3 times. But every other team does seem to respect, even over the power of the Lena, even over the power of the Ricky, this Brood ban. But we do see one move going for something similar. The Rubik comes out up against the Death Prophet here. Do they want to go back for that Snapfire?
5 seconds remaining.
They could. I wouldn't hate it if they feel like that's the way. The thing is that Darkside are going to be changing things up right now. I think if one move pick Snap, that we're going to be seeing something like a Ricky. A setup for a kill, and then one move aren't gonna have that much of a chance to split push. But still, I think Snap is great because it doesn't really force you to do one thing. Maybe they're contemplating, if we don't pick a Clockwork, the enemies will get it or ban it, and it really was one of the key factors of one move in the first game.
Yeah, I think that's from what I've seen across the different regions, definitely one of the top 3 position 5s at the minute playing on that Clockwork, and it is just so easy to be able to get that dive in. So they are going to go back for the Snap, so it does leave the clock on the table.
Beastmaster.
So it's going to be a different approach. They go for the Beastmaster. Okay, Darkside go for a completely different approach than what I thought was going to happen. I thought they were going to go for full-on fight, an offlaner with the Blink. Something along those lines. I know that DK Focus, he likes the Beastmaster. He likes those types of heroes. But they just go all in on the push. So they're not even going to get, from my point of view, they might not even get one hero that catches someone. Just go full in again, Venges, the Enchantresses, and just are going to be like, we were missing that one key hero that helps us push even faster and apply even more pressure. That's what it looks like. And of course, it does give vision, something the Darkside really were lacking in the previous game.
Do you then... No, I suppose they've already got the Rubik, and yeah, they could go for this clock here. I was just thinking one move. Do they want to go for something like the Enchantress to try and deal with that Beastmaster in the lane? You'll make it a little bit harder for him to get that momentum up. But I don't know if that's something that one move... I don't even know if it's a hero they play here.
5 seconds remaining.
I'm not sure if Phantom plays it. I think he can, but then Gilgir is going to be on the Rubik 100%, then you know that it's not going to be an offlane Snapfire rather than the mid lane Snapfire. And I mean, the Clockwork is overall a much better pick with these two heroes. Let's see if Darkside are afraid of it, or if they think that it's not going to make that much of a difference when we have a vision hero of our own.
Yeah, and There was some early engagement
10
from
seconds
Pantomime on the
remaining.
bottom lane. Like I say, the hook's not completely accurate. That some
5
scuffed
seconds
initiations there.
remaining.
So, like you say, with that Beastmaster coming out, being able to throw the hooks around the map, that maybe they aren't as scared as this clockwork.
Dire
Um,
team ban.
yeah, they're gonna ban up the
Nope.
Naga Siren. So the clockwork is still on the table if one move wants it.
Yep, it is there. Of course, again, a little bit tougher to play it against what Darkside have right now.
Hmm.
But that's again for the early stages of the game. I think when you see the Beastmaster, you probably feel like
10
you need
seconds
something
remaining.
that's gonna give you vision. No
Yeah.
illusion-based heroes that push
Dire
out the waves
team
like the
pick.
Naga Siren would be good.
Radiant
Plus, it
team
lanes
pick.
well against the Beast. And they ban out the
Radiant
Clockwork
team
themselves and
pick.
pick up an
Dire
Enchantress.
team
Okay,
pick.
so you were right there. But Darkside were ready. Okay, so it is gonna be a little bit of ganking coming out from their side. The problem here I see is that the Mirana has very low win rate in the
Yeah.
Eastern European region. Like incredibly low. And it's not like you have a lot of things to set up for the arrow.
10
So I'm
seconds
not sure
remaining.
about these two picks from Darkside. The problem though on one move, they
5
are
seconds remaining.
very susceptible, especially on two of their supports, to dying to magical damage. And you know,
Radiant
Darkside, you look
team
at their
ban.
heroes, there's not a lot of magical burst, but every one of their heroes has that spell that can do something. So that's something that I am afraid of. In one move, they go for the Terrorblade again. I'm not sure about this. This time around, they don't have that initiation that they had the previous time. So even if Munkushi would get super powerful,
10 seconds
it's
remaining.
not certain you'll be able to start off the fight.
Yeah, I would like to see
5
something in the
seconds
off lane
remaining.
that has some decent sustain, like the Dragon Knight. Maybe even they pick up the Primal Beasts themselves here. It offers a little bit
Dire
of tower
team
push
ban.
potential as well as the rotation, the gank. So that semi-split push, or excuse me, semi-push, semi-gank potential that would be offered by the Dragon Knight. The Doom does get banned as well. So one move this time, do they take out the Morphlin? Or
10
even,
seconds
would you...
remaining.
I mean, the Slark is still there as well.
5 seconds
The-
remaining.
Slark, I don't know if you want it on Darkside,
Radiant
it wouldn't be
team
bad.
ban.
The Drow is the one that definitely gets taken out. Though I don't know if necessarily it would have been that great for the Darkside lineup. But I think they're still contemplating a Void or the Morphling. And I think Void
10
might be...
seconds remaining.
you have the Enchantress this time around. I think this time around you ban out the Morphling because
5
Enchantress is going to
seconds
be in your face and the Morphling kills her quite easily. So if I was an Enchantress, I would vote for the Morphling ban.
Is it not similar though that because Morphlin wants to be in that
Dire
agi
team ban.
attribute shift, that you could just use the Enchantress with the impetus, you max out onto that impetus and throw that pure damage in, you get the damage that way onto the Morphlin? Because the Morphlin still doesn't have the highest health pool when he is shifted all the way into his agi side of the game.
True, but it's still the Enchantress that is
seconds
going to be laning
remaining.
against the Beastmaster. He's not going to be destroying him in lane, and later on down the
Yeah.
line,
5
Morphling
seconds
uses the
remaining.
waveform over the Enchantress and she blows up. That's how it goes. That's just how these two heroes work together. If you don't force yourself out of that waveform, you just straight up die. So that's why I think Morphling would be a pretty solid one. You can see that one move they're thinking. They're thinking if there's anything else. But the two heroes that Ramses has played is the Morphling. The other one is the Faceless Void.
Radiant team pick.
Okay, so they're gonna let the Morphling go again. Oof.
Dire team
Does he
pick.
pick it up again? Yeah, just gonna go right back for it. And one move, obviously thinking they have a way to deal with this, the Ramses Morphin, which, to be fair, in the first game they absolutely did. And what is going to be this final hero to come out here for one move that could
I like the
potentially...
Dragonite. I like the Dragonite
Yeah.
that you mentioned.
10
Or
seconds
even a
remaining.
Tide Hunter wouldn't. Actually, you're up against the Disruptor, so maybe the
5
Tide isn't
seconds
that
remaining.
great. So you have two ways. Either you're gonna match the push of the enemies, or you're
Yeah.
gonna get team fight. Right? With the team fight, you defend towers. Though against the Beastmaster, that doesn't always work. So
Maybe... No, I was gonna say the Kunkka. Put the Snapfire in the off lane, maybe pick up a Kunkka in the mid lane just to... But then it's only really the Beastmaster that you've got to worry about with the cleave. The cleave is still good. It does work in the off lane from time to time. The run buff might not be bad, but it's gonna be the
Choose
Darkside.
your
Okay,
hero.
so yeah, being able to drag in, get the illusions off on, turn the Ramses' power against himself. Nothing to drop the Iron Shell on apart from yourself, though? If it's not like there's a Spirit Breaker here in the support role. There's not like there's a Primal Beast you can drop it on that does close that gap.
You have 5 range heroes, and you pick the Darkseer. This is just weird. Plus, Disruptor is like one of these supports that you don't want to be laning against as the Darkseer because you cannot escape. He has 2 spells to counter your Surge. This is just a weird one to me. I'm trying to think, like, what does it bring? What it does bring is the ability to push out the waves safely. And when you look at Darkside, their ability to kill the creeps is very, very low. So maybe that's the reason.
Yeah. And guys, we are going to be getting into game number 2, but quickly before that, we are going to hear a word from our sponsors over at EGB.
Bets on esports, bets on streamers, impressive bonus system. Welcome bonus up to $600, cashback, artifacts, regular promotions, daily giveaways. Try yourself as a bookmaker. Great lines. EGB.com, more than just a bookmaker.
Okay, so coming back into this game here, Harry, it's not too late. You can jump on the one move hype train. Come on, all aboard. Choo choo. Getting into it.
I don't understand the Darkseer. I don't understand the Darkseer. That's just the thing. I was okay with their lineup. I think they had pretty solid heroes, but I'm just not sure what they're trying to accomplish with it. I understand later portions of the game you're gonna win if you find the right initiation, but this time around you don't have a clockwork. The enemies have a vision hero. Like, how are you ever gonna find that initiation? The only thing that comes to mind is we want to push out the lanes. Fine, but what then, right? What are you gonna initiate with? How are you gonna do it? How are you gonna make sure that you don't get ganked by a roar into an arrow? And when you're pushing towers, let's say when you bring a hero, that there's gonna be a glimpse bringing you back. I think Darkseer was basically picked up. Let's try to not allow Darkside to do what they want and then rely on Munkushi. But I don't know. I just don't see this Darkseer as working out. It's a weird one to me. I'm looking to be proved wrong. I like it, but a Darkseer with 4 range heroes, that's something you don't do. MVP Phoenix, the old MVP Phoenix would agree.
30
Well,
seconds
somewhere out there, wherever he is, whatever he's doing, Lyrical is just, it doesn't even matter he's not watching. He's just shaking his head at the disbelief you have in the Darkseer here. And, again, one move, they pulled it out of the bag in that first game. Whatever they want to go for, I believe that they have a plan to make it work. And I think that, they're going to be able to do it. And there's nothing you can say or do to convince me otherwise, right up until that Ancient does fall here. Fogus going to be taking some harass in the river. Actually going to be chased down. Do they have the damage to take him down? Throws out the axes, and Ironclad will be able to get the kill. The Scouts Blast coming out. One move on the first foot, the first blood here, on the right track to take this game, and that's all that I needed as a sign to show me they're going to take game number 2.
Perfect start to the game as well, because it is a mid lane hero. That's a free bottle that's going to be going towards Aincrad immediately. So one move, they're going to be very happy with that one. Also considering that their lanes, mid lane, it's going to be even like the previous one. Maybe Aincrad will be losing slightly with this bottle. Not going to be happening. But top lane should go well for one move, and then we have bottom lane where I have no idea, right? Because in my mind, Disruptor with an aggressive hero crushes the Darkseer. But Morphling is not necessarily an aggressive hero, though lately we have been seeing, maxing out of the waveform and then just going aggressively. So we'll see if Ramses and Soneko can make it happen.
What do you expect from the Beastmaster? Because we saw in the last game that the Enchantress did go for an early rotation into the mid lane, to take down that mid lane tower. But Beastmasters, they do usually just like to sit in their off lane and put pressure onto the towers that way. Force up onto the tier 2 and force rotations into their lane. So do you expect the Beastmaster to do that, or does he group up early on with Ravel once that Helm of the Dominator's out to put pressure onto this mid lane tower?
It's the top lane tower needs to drop first. That's just what needs to happen for a Beastmaster. So I wouldn't even be surprised, considering that he's up against the Enchantress, that Rabel himself rotates towards top, because that's what you want with the Beast, for the safe lane enemy tower to drop so that you can take over the area with the Hawks.
Okay, and you can see top lane Pantomim, he's got that hill troll, so he's got the net coming out with the ensnare, throwing it onto Roger. Roger's looking for the hit onto the arrow, or is he? It's just going to fade it anyway, but yeah, Pantomim throwing out a lot of harass here onto Roger in this top lane, just with the impetus coming out with the 1 point into the enchant, and Roger, you can see the reflection as well onto Roger, and he's just going to be careful. The arrow, it does connect point blank, so Pantomim chasing down. Does he want to try and commit onto the kill? Well, he's got the slow onto the enchant, but it looks like DK Fogus. Does he get this kill back onto the edge? The axes fly through. It's not going to be enough for the kill, so he does get that salve off. And Fogus still trying to chase down. Axes up in 2 seconds, but it doesn't look like he's going to pursue for the kill.
Yeah, understandably so. That is, he understood that after the Sal was used, he wasn't going to be getting that one. But overall, this top lane is going really well for one move. The bottom lane is going really well for Darkside currently. But once the Darkseer gets more levels, you know, it's going to be easier and easier for him to just push in the wave and get those easy last hits. The way you play against the Darkseer, sometimes first 2 levels you try to deny as much as possible because it's not easy to commit with this hero. So that's why he's not having the easiest time in terms of CS, especially because the Morphling has high damage early on.
Are you expecting just Greaves to come out early on for the Darkseer, like first big item? Because that's what you usually do see the Darkseers build into, you know, a quick mech, quick mana boots. Does he want to go all the way to Greaves here? I
think so. I think that's the best meta item currently, and you are dealing with a hero that has a silence on the enemy side. So I would say it's a pretty decent approach. You know, the other thing that comes to mind is what we have seen from Darkseers is a Vanguard. You know, he is playing against the Death Prophet, so some extra physical damage resistance would be helping him. But he has a headdress, so you know, I'm leaning more and more towards the Guardian Greaves currently.
Yeah, and it does look like he's got the mana boots to come out for the Darkseer pretty much straight away. Going to be nice for Gilgia as well. It means that he can spam the Fade Bolts just a little bit more and get that mana to stretch just a little bit longer as well. Rabel in the mid lane taking some harass, but the bottom lane, do they want to try? I mean, Gilgia, Adaptive Strike comes through. It's just Ramses, you know, throwing out some damage onto the Rubik and, you know, just trying to fend him away. But the Telekinesis is 2 points into the Fade Bolt now as well. So if he does want to throw the damage back into Ramses' face, he can go with that Fade Bolt. Maybe try and mess up a couple of last hits there as well.
Fade Bolt is an annoying spell for the Morphling to deal with, because you have such high damage, and then a lot of its percentage-wise, you know, gets taken away.
Top lane,
your last hitting is hard.
Munkushi gets the kill. The arrow's going to connect onto the edge, and level 3 again doesn't have the points for the Nature's Attendance. And Pantomim trying to run himself away, but Roger's going to be out of mana. Doesn't have the point into the Starstorm anyway, so can't drop that onto Pantomim to secure the kill. But yeah, the Enchantress slow with that enchant onto the Beastmaster, just chasing him down. Munkushi with the Metamorphosis. They do the damage to get the kill, and in the bottom lane now as well, the Fade Bolt comes out. Snakeo's going to go down. Ramses is going to get close now as well with the Ion Shell onto him. Ramses, he has to use the Strength Adaptive Strike, get the pushback onto Afterlife to make sure he can get out alive.
Oh, they're being destroyed in the lanes, just completely annihilated. Pantomim might lose his life, but it's a small price to pay for sure. The biggest one for me is this mid lane that Aincrad managed to get the kill. Remember last game, Clockwork comes in, they can't get the kill. They use the Mortimer's Kisses. Now, even before that, they're just crushing Rabel here, and at least Darkside are starting to push back a little bit. But overall, lanes going very, very good for one move currently.
Yeah, and Pantomim, he was out of health, he was out of mana, he saw that his mid lane needed a bottle refresh as well, so he just thought, you know what, the quickest way back to the fountain for me is just to die. So, you know, it wasn't even like he was giving up. I've gone full hopium here, you know, the cope is out in this second game. And there is going to be the rotation in Roger coming into this mid lane. You can see on the map moving himself in, but there's going to be the backstab coming through from the Mud Golem. Whereas the Boulder Toss coming through, Rabel, even with the Spirit Siphon on, he's only going to be able to go into the Mud Golem. That split. Arrow does connect onto the Snapfire. Good pickup there from Roger. You know, this Mirana with a really nice use of that. Coming through, but the slow, the enchant comes out onto Rabel. Do they have enough damage maybe to go into Roger here now? Because Roger, out of mana, has enough left for one leap. It looks like Pantomim. Yeah, they're going to move themselves actually onto Snako in the mid lane. Telekinesis and the Fade Bolt being thrown in, so both supports from both sides in this mid lane, creating space for the side laners, and no kills coming out from that. Rabel did get very close, but that was the Mortimer Kisses being used for that.
Good for the Morphling, but very bad for the Beastmaster on top. He's the one that needs help, though I don't know if it goes any better if Pantomim is there, who, speaking of, is now going to die.
Yeah, he gets caught out, and they are able to take down Bambi. The Hawk coming through, Munkushi is going to be spotted trying to get the pull, and it only gets onto the range creep, so he's going to be able to move himself in, but back to the mid lane for Roger, so they do want to be applying some pressure to Aincrad in this mid lane.
You have to be able to get the initial kill if you're Darkside, because you want your disruptor to work. One move they drafted so that they're gonna be pushing in the waves, and then disruptor isn't gonna be that great because you want to be on the aggressive with the disruptor really. So we'll see if Darkside can do it. In the mid lane, applying pressure there, it's probably the best. The bad thing, of course, is that Aincrad is much more powerful than the Death Prophet currently, just because of all the things that happened. Him getting the first blood and then him getting the solo kill onto ROBBNROLL.
Yeah, and it looks like he does want to be the one that responds to any fights breaking out. Speaking about a fight breaking out, Kilga trying to go for the TP will be able to get away. The glimpse was already used, so no drawback onto the Rubik. Ramses loses his courier as well. Afterlife getting cheeky, taking down that. I mean, what was he going to? Okay, it was going to be power trance. I saw the glove. I was like morphling with the hand of Midas, but it was just coming out for the power trance there.
I don't know if you noticed in the previous game, this one as well, Ramses doesn't get a Morbid Mask on the Morphling, and he's always on 20% HP. Like every single time in the previous game, and even in this one, I'm seeing him super low. He's never full HP, which, for the Morphling, doesn't have to be that big of an issue, but sometimes you can make a mistake because of it.
Yeah, Aincrad in the mid lane. Suneko, he's going to take some harass, and I don't know if the Observer showed it, but this Beastmaster, he keeps using his bow in this top lane to get the stacks. Look at the stacks into the triangle now. He's got I think that's a quad stack and an ancient triple stack. Yeah. So, if he does come in with the axes onto that, do you take that as focus, or do you leave that for the Morphling?
As focus, and we see, I don't think the Morphling can take it that easy, but yeah, we see ROBBNROLL rotating to the top lane. This was expected. This tower has to fall, and the Beastmaster, considering the laning that he was given, he's not going to be able to do it alone. I really like this move from ROBBNROLL. Even if you lose the mid lane tower, one move can't really get kills. Pretty much the same thing as Darkside had in the previous game, and it's not like Darkside are going to be losing this tower.
No, yeah, you can see they leave the tower for focus to get the last hits. The TP comes into the mid, the last of the exorcism now as well. The glimpse back onto Aincrad. Aincrad, can he get himself away from this one? He's going to be pretty damn fast, but using that Fairy Fire, Crypt Swarm comes out, slows down ROBBNROLL with the double damage rune. He's trying to use those phase boots to catch up. Aincrad even gets himself the bounty, the bottle. Is this going to be enough to keep him alive? One more right click with this double damage rune. He's trying to break some ankles here, Aincrad, but he's going to be immediately spotted. And Aincrad, the cookie to the low ground. Does he get himself away? The TP, Crypt Swarm, it doesn't connect. He's going to be able to get the TP away.
Arrow, man, did you see that arrow? It was so close. Aincrad with some beautiful footwork. He did everything right there. And that ward from his team deep into the jungle actually helped him. Knew from which side the Death Prophet is going to be coming. He knows he's not coming from the left. So he just goes from right to the left. Going to be juking around there and then gets to the low ground. That is just beautiful. Every single spell that he used, the Scatter Blast to slow enemies down, everything was picture perfect. And that's the only reason that he lives there.
Yeah. Pantomime. Pantomime's going to be pretty lucky now as well. They are going to be able to get a kill to Suneko. Glimpse back onto Aincrad. Right back into the waiting arms of those creeps. He just says, thank you very much. It would have taken him an extra second. Maybe he misses out on the last hit or so here. So Aincrad with the kill as well as that full farm, that full wave of farm here. And yes, that tier 1 tower on the top lane went down, but you can see that Munkushi, he was comfortable enough that he was moving himself into the jungle anyway, going towards this Manta style. They're going to be able to get the kill. Ramses goes down. The wall gets dropped and Ramses goes down. They get the kill into Pantomime's return, but Darkseer solo, well no, there was a rotation coming out from Gilga, so it wasn't a solo kill, but they still do the damage. They still get the kill here onto the Morphin in the bottom lane.
Maybe Aincrad this time dies.
Ooh, are they going to be able to pick him up? Most of the cases starting to drop, and he has not the spirit type. And ROBBNROLL, he's going to be blown up, and Aincrad gets the kill. And you can see that they're even going to be able to get a kill onto Suneko as well. Double multi-kisses. And yeah, one move, just blowing up everyone left, right, and center at the minute.
A lot more pressure on the Darkside. They're not playing good Dota today. And one move, they are like, yeah, guys, we have most likely been eliminated, but let's give it our all. And they're all ROBBN is so good here. They're getting everything they want done on the map. They let the top tier 1 go, but that is fine. They're pressuring the bottom. They even got the mid lane rotation to Munkushi, so getting something done, getting some kind of a momentum there with the Terrorblade early on in the game is very important, because you want to have some impact with your carry. Find it somehow, and he finds the perfect moment where Aincrad is again breaking some ankles, again barely surviving, and one move now are 5k gold ahead. That first blood has snowballed so out of control for Darkside.
Yeah, and you can see that Gilga, he wants to go for more. He stole that waveform. So Suneko, he might be the target here. Fadebolt comes through. Suneko going to be taking a lot of damage as the Exorcism gets caught. Rabel, he goes towards that illusion room. Gilga, does he get himself away from this one? Just waveforms himself up to the higher ground, away from the kinetic field, and out of danger here, Rubik.
He waited for the Thunderstrike to stop, because Thunderstrike gives vision, so he waits for those 4 ticks, and then he waveforms away. He knew that he was gonna live there, especially because there's no silence in Rabel currently.
Yeah, okay, Rabel now, the Exorcism is going to be coming to a close, but they should have the damage to take down this tier 1 tower in the mid lane. I say should, is Pantomime, is he looking for the deny? He gets it as well. So they get it does open up the map. But, you know, that little bit of extra gold taken away from the side of Darkside, it's just the moral, or the mental victory there to get that denied from Pantomime as well.
Let's see now. One move, they're 6k gold ahead. The game is going amazing for them. The thing is, though, their towers have fallen. Ramses? Okay.
Did he make the dive?
Gilger.
I mean, Suneko's invis. The Moonlight Shadow is going to be used as well. So if you want to go, they're going to get the drag back with the multiple kisses onto Ramses. Ramses, does he have enough health to sustain through this? It looks like he does. The silence comes out there from Rabel. And now the chase on to the Enchantress and Ench. Rabel will get the kill onto Pantomime.
As I mentioned, now is the real showing of one move to see what they're going to do. Because they have gotten their timings. They're going to have the BKB on Aincrad fairly soon. They have the Guardian Greaves. The question is, what do you do now? Do you just farm? Do you just push out the Darkside out of your jungle and hope that in the late game you're gonna be fine? Or do you try to press this lead? And both of those options have a good argument for them. One is late game, you could be in trouble against the Beastmaster, but late game Terrorblade and the Darkseer versus the Morphling should have an edge, especially if you're ahead, even in an area that you do not have control of. So we'll see what one move wants to do. But now this is the real test, you know, because you're not going to be controlling the majority of the map, even though you're ahead.
Yeah, and at this point, I mean, how far away is the Exorcism? Exorcism, as we can see on the screen, they're 13 seconds away. Can I just say how much I love these cooldown things on the broadcast? They just go alongside the hero lineup as well at the top of the screen.
You can say that you love it. That's very nice of you to praise our production, who are the ones that are behind our great casting success. But Roger?
They've got the catch out onto Roger. Can he get it? He absolutely cannot get himself away. Into the waiting arms of the Snapfire. Point blank, though, with the Scatter Blast to secure the kill against the Mirana.
And he just jumps towards the Snapfire and dies faster, you know.
Yeah, he just wants to get it over with.
Yeah, just don't make it long. No reason to suffer. Really no reason to suffer. So it is one move. They're pushing out the Beastmaster out of the top part of the map. I like this. This is the way that you're gonna keep the lead going your way. This is the way that you're gonna be controlling the majority of the map, or at least not allowing Darkside to control the majority of it. And with this kind of an approach, if you're taking the top part of the map, you are gonna be retaining your lead for the later portions of the game.
Yeah, one move with that 5k net worth lead here as well. You can see that all 3 cores on their side, you know, topping that net worth chart. It is only about 1,000 difference between the Morphling and the Terrorblade. So, you know, it's not if they can get a kill onto the Terrorblade here, Darkside, it does offer the opportunity for the Morphling to catch right back up. But it's just that overall difference now. Enchantress, or the Wallowing Ripper, it's going to be the Ench's Wallowing Ripper, but the road does come through. Is there going to be anyone helping him out? Arrow connects onto the Ench, and Ench is going to be going down eventually. So, but it does mean they're going to be able to get a kill. They trade it off for the Ramses on the bottom lane.
Ramses is not feeling good today. He is definitely not feeling good. Darkside needs more.
Yeah, and Roger, they want to go in. There's going to be the dive in as well as that 4 points into the Starstorm come through. Aincrad, he just shrugs it off. You look at it, you know, Snapfire, big tanky hero here, Afterlife with the Greaves, can pop that anytime any burst damage comes through. And the survivability of these 2 heroes underneath the T2 tower, no chance to get the burst damage here on the Darkside to get either kill.
even if Ramses doesn't die, one move are still doing what they want. They give the Enchantress, they force out all of the TPs towards the top lane. You know Darkside are there, you're gonna push them out immediately, and then when the TPs are there, one move takes control of the bottom lane again. But Ramses dying is just a really big problem. And Pantomime is every single time in front. He is the one that just wants to die. Of course, this time around, they're gonna kill him slightly faster, so this should be an opening for Darkside to get something more done on the map.
Yeah, full canary in the coal mine there from Pantomime, but he's going to be fine with that because it does mean that because Terrorblade was right next to him. Munkushi, he just wanted to go for the retreat, and Munkushi has that Eye of Scar. He didn't go. He's going to go back for another Lincoln, and it does make sense again into Ramses. He's not going to be close. He actually goes for a Manta style first here, Ramses, but you know, at some point he is going to want that Ag Scepter, so being able to have that Lincoln Sphere up early, and Munkushi to block that, you'll make sure he doesn't lose the stats, or at least force out a spell to break that Lincoln Sphere. It is going to be really nice just for the survivability, the actual effectiveness of Munkushi here in these fights. But you can see that there's a really nice ward. I love this ward. It's not on the high ground, and it's not going to be shown on cameras. I'm going to point it out. It's near the Roche pit on the top part of the Radiant Triangle. It's not on that high ground, but it is going to see any time Darkside move towards the Roche pit from this angle. And it means that one move, I mean, especially with the Exorcism, because that's going to be the big thing that Darkside want to go in the pit with. So as soon as, if they see that, they can get in, they can contest. They don't have a Clock Quick this time to get a hook shot into the pit, but they still have those Mortimer Kisses. They still have a vacuum into a wall that can be dropped this time. They still have, you know, the Fade Bolt that's going to bounce through. So one move have a great skill set to contest on any Roche takes.
Still, this smoke for them is big because they finally have their item timings. They thought they were in Roche.
Yeah, they see Roger, so they start to drop the Morty Kisses, and a couple will connect onto Roger, but it does put them on cooldown now. Do they get it? The Cookie! They get the kill onto Rabel now as well. Great Cookie. They get the kill onto, and they're going to be able to get on Rabel as well. Taking down the Disruptor and the Death Prophet. With the Exorcism not going to be, well, they do have the buyback, so if you want to, Exorcism could be available. Ramses not making his way. The Metamorphosis is up as well. They've got the Molten Cookie from the Snapfire, so all of this extra damage, and it looks like Darkside, do they want to try and contest this? Ramses is TPing up.
It's very hard, but they're gonna try. Still no BKB on the Terrorblade, so he dies inside of the Static Storm once Soneko is back up.
Yeah, but I mean, they've got the lift on Ramses. Roshan is getting really down low. This is going to be the Aegis. And Munkushi not to contest. He does get that Aegis. But he might go down. The vacuum comes through, so the Aegis is going to be popped immediately here. Darkseer, he's going to go down as well. This Aegis back up Ramses. What can they do? Because they've already used these spells. Ramses, can he get himself outside of the pit? He's trying. He's still got that Darkseer form there as well, so he has the surge. If he needs it, Ramses coming back in. He drops it Iron Shot to Rabel, but they're going to be able to get the drag back in here onto Munkushi. Exorcism now will come out. Munkushi, can he get himself up? The Cookie comes out. He's on the high ground. And they might be able to get themselves away. Munkushi just has to
doesn't know where to go.
Yeah, the Sundari, he comes out, he turns himself around with the damage. It's still going to be able to take down the Terrorblade twice. Oh, they might even get
a bonus.
Okay, so he's trying to go even with that pick form, wee all the way to the grave.
Yeah, a much different game when you don't have the initiation, when you don't have the vision. One move. At least they took the Roche away from Darkside, but that's it. The Goldie, the one that you have accumulated, it's completely gone. Afterlife, after this pipe, I think he has to go for a Blink Dagger. This is the thing about playing against the Vision heroes. There are two. You can maybe even say three on the side of Darkside, and on the side of one move. They only have this Enchantress. This is going to be giving some vision on the map. One move, they're going to be very sad about that one.
Yeah, but look at the odds here on the EGB odd sheet. You can see that one move, they've come right down in terms of being close. The Darkside still are the favorites for the second map, but one move, they were, I think it was something like 3 or 4 before the map actually started, and now bringing them right down to close to evens with Darkside. Or equal to Darkside, I should say.
One move, they really want to continue pushing forward. This is a good dive.
Yeah, they've got Rabel, they've got the drag back. Mortimer Kisses, walls can be used now as well.
Needs to die faster.
Do they have the damage? The cookie's going to come in. It doesn't actually connect. They might be able to get the kill onto Marana, but now one move, they do need to scatter to get themselves away from this. Don't get the kill onto Rabel's. Going to get low. The illusion damage coming through from the wall as well onto Roger. Starstorm does get dropped. They have a lot of damage onto the Rubik. Rubik, though, Roger, he has to run himself with the Fade Bolt. They're going to be able to get the kill, even if it's not going to be the Death Prophet. They still get another kill out of this and going to be able to apply the pressure now with the Terrorblades. Oh, he does get dragged back, but nothing to follow up. Ramses, he gets that morph off, but no Aghanim Scepter, so no stat steal, no major stat steal coming out for the Morphlin, and this tier 2 tower should still go down after the fortification was off.
We can see that when the positioning of one move is good, that they can take fights when they're going for these towers. The tier 2, when you're pushing it, you're always going to have a better position unless the enemy team went for a smoke and you were the ones initiating, so that wasn't the case. And that's why Darkside couldn't get themselves into a good fight there. And I'm actually very surprised that one move bail out of that one. You could see that Darkside didn't want to fight, and for a good reason. They didn't really have the positioning to do so.
Yeah, and at least, again, with that Aegis kill onto the Terrorblade, you know, it means that if they do want to take a fight here, it's technically 2 lives with the Sunder. Maybe 2.5 with the Greaves as well. But they've proved he is killable. You know, if they can get on top, how's Ramses looking in terms of items as well? So Ramses actually wants to BKB before Lincoln Sphere, before he gets over to the Scepter. No shard here for him either.
I think both cores are understanding right now. Ramses, I have to kill this Terrorblade, and Terrorblade is, I have to survive the Static Storm. That's why you're seeing the BKB now being taken over the Lincoln Sphere, over the Manta style for the Terrorblade. He has to live through the Static Storm. If he gets roared, Static Storm drop, you are dead. There is nothing in this world that can save you, and you need to make sure that that doesn't happen. Looking at your supports, they don't really have much to assist you to get you out of the kinetic field, you know, so you're gonna have to do it yourself.
And you can see that I thought there was a smoke. No, there's no smoke coming through. They're just trying to clear up this creep wave that is the ancient Thunderhide from the Beastmaster, trying to push out this lane, but being chased by the Tomato and the creep wave and the Iron Shell. This Thunderhide does have to retreat far back enough that at least the Beastmaster can get these axes off. And we can see that one move, they've got a 3k net worth advantage. They've got a 3-kill lead. They might even make it a 4-kill lead. Marana, what was stolen? It's going to be the Starstorm. But Roger, even with that silence onto him, stolen from the Death Prophet. You know, Gilga not able to claim the kill. Ironcrad not able to TP close enough to follow up as well. Going towards the E-Blade from Ironcrad. He got that last game as well. I don't know how effective that was overall. But, you know, it's going to be nice just being able to pop it. Telekinesis comes out. They're going to be able to get the kill. The cookie comes through, but it wasn't a life. Roger, he gets a leap away to safety.
The Ironcrad doesn't have a blink this game, so it's not that easy for him to get there in time. Even with Rubik being with the blink, you needed to start moving a little bit earlier, and then he misses both the cookie and the scatter blast. If one of those connects, the Mirana just dies.
Yeah. Seer going towards the Scepter as well. He wants that normal punch.
Dire are scanning.
I would rather he buys a blink. He has a blink and quick buy as well.
Yeah.
I think he needs it. I do like the Aghanim Scepter, but it's going to be hard to run into the enemies because you are up against the Beastmaster and you do not want your Darkseer to die at the start of the fight.
Look at this as well. They're trying to force something out here. One move. They've smoked up. They're just using these Terrorblade illusions to push out. And even the Thunderhide not going to be able to step up to these Terrorblade illusions. Going to be forced all the way back. So this tier 2 tower in the mid lane is going to take some damage. Meanwhile, one move, they smoke up. They're looking for any defensive rotations coming in. The TPs came back into the base, so not going to be able to catch anyone out. And yeah, even stabbing it up into the side of the map where Darkside just were, they weren't able to catch anybody out. But it was a good move.
Yeah, it would have been a good position to fight in. And you want to push Darkside back always, because Darkside are really having issues dealing with the lanes. And then if you push in some of the lanes in smoke and you push Darkside back, it's automatically going to be easy to read them. That's why you're very rarely seeing one move being caught out.
Oh, do they have the vision onto this now? The Observer for the side of the Radiance is going to be fading the illusions. It sees the heroes, but Phantom, he has the Force Staff outside of the connected field. Do they have the jump onto Ramses? Ramses, he's going to be taking some damage. Mortimer Kiss is coming through now as well. Ramses has already used that Manta style, trying to get himself back, but doesn't use the BKB just yet. Mortimer Kiss is going to get used. That's going to be a really good vacuum into the wall, though. Focus, he's going to go down. He get the kill onto 2. And the Starstorm damage. even with the kinetic field being up, they still get the kills. They're still able to advance. And I don't think the static storm was enough. I don't think it was on anyone. So the damage, the Darkseer wall was already there. Really nice couple of kills.
The Darkseer now is starting to really be a problem because he's the strongest teamfight hero in this game, and you really can't do much about it, especially once he gets the blink. That was not great positioning from Darkside. They were on the high ground, and they could have prevented 3 of their heroes being caught in the vacuum. But those things are gonna happen from time to time, and when they do, you have just instantly lost the fight.
Gilga, he gets arrowed. Rabel as well as Roger looking for the pick here onto the Rubik. The sounds comes out as well, but Rubik, he's just going to go for the TV, the glimpse. He's going to be dragged back, and Gilga, he's going to waste a lot of time. Opens up the tier 2 tower, and for a support, yeah, good trades. It took so much time for them to get killed that he couldn't respond to that tower being taken down in the mid lane. And it looks like
Why
Darkseer,
the hell is he so tanky?
he took the attribute shift off the Morphlin and went full strength.
Okay. Yeah, that does make sense. Yes, 2k HP. I'm clicking on the Darkseer. I'm looking at the talent. He went for the 100 vacuum AoE because he knows that that's the big one. So he doesn't have the extra HP from the Iron Shell. Thinking like, why isn't this Rubik dying? But yeah, he did steal the attribute shift. I don't know if you saw it in the previous game that Ramses never wanted to give the attribute shift to the Rubik, and because of it, they were dealing with the waveform. This game is like, just have it, just take it, like who the hell cares? But even despite that, he might be he's now thinking, what should I give this to this guy? I need to give him the adaptive strike.
It's just, I'm looking at the Rubik here, and next time the observer brings up as well, you know, everyone in like watching can look at it. He has 8 agility. 94 strength for a Rubik and 8 agility. So yeah, he's rocking that 2k health pool. And he's got a, he's got the blink himself going towards that shard. Well, actually, did have the dive onto Rabel? Did they have the cookie? It's going to be the vacuum coming through, and Rabel is going to be forced to use this BKB, and that's going to be the fresh BKB there as well. The 9-second BKB is going to be down as this fight breaks out. The Mortimer Kiss is starting to rain down. Who are they going to hit though? They don't have the vision because the Moonlight Shadow is going to be coming out.
Darkseer waiting for his chance. He has the blink dagger and he wants to find the right initiation.
Yeah, if they can get this off, I mean, it might cost them the Enchantress. Exorcism is going to be popped here from Rabel. He does have the Arcane Rune, so it's not going to be the massive cooldown on the Exorcism like it normally would. You know, you get a, 30% off the cooldown, which is going to be nice, but it does mean that now Roshan isn't up for another minute. What can they do while this Exorcism is up?
Ideally, they wanted to chase for more for the Eclipse, but they hoped that the Roche had spawned, so they went for that one. That is going to allow one move to reset. You're seeing just how much Ramses emphasizes killing this Enchantress at the start of the fight. That is something that he just wants to get out of the way. Just wait for him in, destroy one hero, and then if one move wants to go in, you don't get much help from your team, and then if they want to go in, you are separated enough so the big vacuum wall doesn't come through.
Oh, the arrow splits the wickets between Munkushi and Ankrad. So now, I mean, the Mortimer Kiss is how far away? 40 seconds off them, but Exorcism's down. Moonlight Shadow is going to be down for the next 40 seconds here as well. Can they do something? Roger, he's going to get the leap, but there's going to be the blinking. Gilga, he gets the silence off there as well. Storm from the Death Prophet. Roger not going to be able to get the leaps away, the damage. And Roger, he's going to be chased down. He doesn't have any leap charges anyway. And Pantomim does secure the kill. Really nice pickup, 42 seconds without a Mirana. And the Hawk's going to go down over the Roche pit. This is a really nice timing with the Roshan respawning. And the Mortimer Kiss is coming right back up.
The side of Darkside, they have better vision. But one move, they have better team fight. And they know they can commit on targets, whereas Darkside, they can't do it.
Yeah, Rabel, the game's going to slow right down here, but Rabel, he throws out that BKB early. DK Focus, the Reflection going to be used. He has to use the Raw, but the Mortimer Kiss is going to be raining down. Do they have enough to take their Beastmaster? They're going to get the kill onto Ramses, and now even the Disrupt, he's going to get low, chasing away. BKB Death Prophet, he doesn't have it anymore. He's going to be silenced up. Not going to be able to pop that Exorcism just yet. They get the kill onto Sineko. Anything to stop the TP? No, but what was stolen is going to be the Crypt Swarm. That's extra damage. And now, with 2 heroes dead, with Ramses being dead, one move can go right back into the Roche pit.
Ramses had a double damage, and that's why he went straight onto Munkushi. But no, you just can't win a fight. You're going onto the high ground where a Terrorblade with 10 of his illusions are. He ripped him apart in a second, right? He thought it was going to be the other way around. Like, I have the Beastmaster here, I have the DD, but it changed nothing. DB just way too powerful right now. And the team fight from one move, it seems to be the thing that is dictating these fights, despite the superior vision of Darkside.
Yeah, at least now they might be able to come in. No terrible BKB for the next 27 seconds. So the exorcism is going to be popped backline. So they found out the Beastmaster. Snap fired to the damage. It's going to be able to take him down with that molten cookie now as well. The drive back onto Rabel. And that's going to be Ramsey's buying back. But the exorcism's down. Arrow flies through. They say thank you for the helping hand here. Roshan going to be stunned up. March themselves right back into the pit. Roger trying to leap in. Maybe trying to get a smash with the Starstorm. But all he's going to do is he got it. The Aegis. But it's going to cost him this Aegis. And yeah, 3 heroes. He's trying to get himself away the leaps, but the telekinesis comes through. So okay, he gets that Aegis. That is a Brucey bonus. And I'll never explain what a Brucey bonus is, you know, because we don't have the time, unfortunately, having to get right back into this match.
Yeah, I could. I have a theory, but I'm not gonna start with it now. Anyways, though, one move, big fight. You can see this is the difference, right? Darkside, they see a hero, they cannot commit. They have to go with 1 or 2 heroes with the morphing and the DP. That's the max of it, and you're going forward and you're behind, so you can't get that initial kill. The reason why you can't commit is because the Darkseer will get you in a vacuum wall, and you're gonna immediately lose the fight. You have 3 or 4 heroes together, right? So you have to approach it very carefully. One move, when they see a hero, they run in headlessly, and there is no punish because the Darkseer will always be able to help them in a fight, even if it's a good static storm placement and he doesn't have a BKB. With his 100 vacuum AoE added to this vacuum, he will always have the range to get on some of the heroes that are going ham on one of his, and it just makes it so easy for one move to fight. Still, Darkside, what they did in that fight by stealing the Aegis, they delayed this game. Why? Because they still have better vision, and for one move, it's still not super easy to come towards the high ground, because they're gonna get split pushed. Then when you start to try to deal with the lanes, you might get picked off and allow your enemies to come back into the game. So Roger, he has bought some time for his team, where one move isn't gonna be feeling too confident to commit onto the high ground, even though currently that would be the best thing they could do. But without the Aegis, it always feels hard and tough to go for that kind of an approach.
Yeah, at least one move. I'm pretty sure they got the shot out of it on the Rubik shot. Seneko, Moonlight Shadow comes down. Seneko, sentries and wards have been dropped here as well. Ankrad just going to go for that TP away. Not going to be able to scout it out here on the side of Darkside. So everybody, even with that Moonlight Shadow coming out, Ankrad, even the scan being used to try and scout this one out, but Ankrad, he was already out.
And you see, he's going for the hex on the Snapfire. Understands, I blink in, I just destroy someone with the E-Blade, and the enemies, they cannot re-engage. They just cannot do it. And he's going for these split pushes. He wants to have the ability to threaten the lives, at least of the supports.
Yeah, and with the boots of travel as well, Ankrad being able to push out again another lane and then immediately respond if a gank breaks out. You've got Afterlife that can do it as well. Just drops an Iron Shell and then surges to the rest of his team to group up. And now Afterlife, he gets the vacuum back onto Roger. Roger, can he get himself away? No lead charges. Roger just stands, he accepts his death. And, well, okay. He's got himself the Ogre Seal Totem, so he's going to make them work for this. No, maybe not. The Roar comes out. That was a bait. That was a great bait, mate. As now they're even going to be able to turn out onto Rubik. Okay, I was wrong. I thought Roger, he was just accepting his fate there.
He got arrowed. He got arrowed. You didn't see, because
okay.
And no animation. He just point blanked in that head while he was standing for a second or two. But those are 2 big kills, and without the Darkseer, now finally Darkside can commit. They can go for a big fight. They are missing a couple of heroes though.
Yeah, Ankrad, he gets that dive in. There's going to be forces out the Manta style actually from Ramses. And Ramses, these multi-cases are going to be dropping Ramses, but the arrow comes out. Ramses, does he get himself away from this one? He has to use his BKB waveforming himself into the trees as well. But again, the BKB is going to be used to keep him alive. And now, all of a sudden, again, the momentum, it shifts in favor of one move in this bottom lane.
Oh man, Roger is holding the lifeline of Darkside in this game. He steals the Aegis, he gets the arrow in now, he baits these 2. He's literally doing everything for his team.
Yeah.
Right? Because that arrow doesn't connect on Munkushi, Ramses is dead.
Yeah.
Munkushi could have popped the BKB, but you're not expecting. You're like, haha, look at what this guy is doing. I'm just gonna rip him apart right now. And then Roger just gets an arrow in next to all of your illusions. The real hero is the one that does get hit. So Roger, so far so good. His performance in this game has really been phenomenal, but still they're on the losing end, and one move again have all of their heroes.
And one move, I mean, Afterlife, he's about 600 gold away from completing onto getting the normal punch off. You know, you get the extra illusion coming through. That you get yourself in, you jump in, you get the stun off there as well, and with the wall, you know, jumping into the normal punch onto Ramses. Ramses, he's going to be taking so much damage coming through onto this. That, you know, how does he really survive through everything that one move can stack up against him?
Well, both teams now are, when you look at it, itemizing in a really good way, right? On the side of Darkside, they're going for a Blink Hex on the Death Prophet, and they're going overwhelming damage from the Morphling. Why?
Yeah.
They want, without much committal, to be able to kill a hero. On the side of one move, they just want more ways to initiate, right? And that's why the Snapfire has this Hex that now is going to be used so perfectly to kill Roger, right? So both teams are itemizing perfectly, but with one move being ahead, their items are coming earlier, and that's why it's going to pose a big threat to Darkside.
Oh, Eintracht, he goes right into the path here of the Beastmaster. The tip's going to come out. If he would have held himself in the trees, you know, just waiting for that TP to come off, maybe he survives through that. But, you know, he tried to get the cookie away and try and get himself back to the rest of his team. And it means he pays with his life. He gives up, what was that, about 1,000 gold he gave up there after dying?
Man, that was a lot. It was 1,000 to only Ramses, and you know, a lot of bonuses on the side. That's a beyond godlike Snapfire. 11-1 now.
What can they do? They might. I mean, Ramses is going to be slowed down. They force the Manta style out again. Ramses, this time he doesn't even need the BKB. Just going to be able to back himself away on 5 versus, well, with Roger coming back alive now. Moonlight Shadow's going to be used, and it is going to be that 5 versus 4 eventually, as it looks like. Do they get the jump out? No. Dark's here. He's going to be away. He's going to be over and away from the kinetic field. And one move. Just have to back themselves away, but really nice position here from Darkside. Letting Ramses push onto this tier 2, while the rest of them in that triangle just trying to scout out any aggression coming out from the side of one move.
You can see the emphasis the Darkside are putting onto the burst damage, and they're just getting the Alpha Wolf. Even though the Enchantress can easily take that one, you know, she only gets the talent to steal the Ancient Creeps on level 20. You know that it is important for Ramses to rip people apart. These heroes, one move, 4 of their heroes have to die. Terrorblade is gonna have to be ignored at the start of the fight, unless you can find the perfect initiation. But I think Darkside, if they see a Terrorblade and don't know exactly where the enemies are, just let them be and try to finish off the other ones faster.
Gilga goes with the self-teasy there on the cliff, but he's going to be able to get the dive in. But waveform coming out from Ramsey, pops that BKB. Mancucci going to be using his own BKB. He's going to be able to walk himself out of the kinetic field. And now Ramsey's going to be chased down. He's right-click coming out from Mancucci. Ramsey's, what can he do? Because it's still going to be blinking. He's got that telekinesis up in 1 second, but the waveform comes out. There's going to be the roar, the blast back. Only couldn't be committed, though, onto the Rubik just to make sure he couldn't get the telekinesis off. And they get the kill to Ramsey's. So Neko goes down on the backlines there as well. Ironclad picks up the kill. And look at this, one move. No buyback onto Ramsey's. He's already dead. 107 seconds before he comes back up, and one move. They want to be moving in. They want to be putting pressure onto the towers, but there is no creep wave. It's all the way back here, close to where that tier 1 tower would stand. So the backdoor protection is up here for against one move.
What was this far for Darkside was Seneco's item, the Aghanim Scepter. Because of it, they thought they could go for the Terrorblade. They thought they could get the kill, but Munkushi gets the BKB just before it lands, and it was already too late. Ramses was too deep already, no way to get out, and that's why you lose the fight. That's why it's so tough, man. Even with it, I still don't think Terrorblade is your target. Leave him for last. We saw that he needs a lot of time to kill Ramses. Ramses doesn't need that much time to kill the other ones on one move. He kills them actually really fast if he can get the hits in.
And they're going to lose the lane of racks from this. Ramses isn't fighting back. He knows if he buys back and the fight, oh, Gravel dives in. He's going to pop that Exorcism now as well with his BKB, but it is only going to be that 6-second BKB. The roar comes through onto the Darkside. The Darkside is going to be silenced off. He's not going to be able to use his creeps just yet. And now he moves himself away. Can he get them up? He can. And they're going to dive in. So he did. He bought back Ramses. He's going to go down. That's going to be the game. Everybody on the side of Darkside, they want to buy back into this, but one move, they want to end this here and now. And they forced out the buyback. It's just going to be called. The disconnects come out. And one move. They take the series. Yeah, the game's it's just over. Hurry.
It's 2-0.
Chant it with me. Rob was right. Rob was right. Rob was right. Rob was right.
Yeah, Rob was right.
Series in 2-0-1 move. They've shown it all along, all throughout the DPC, sparks of this quality. And today, when it really mattered, when the lives were on the line, when it was the fate in their own hands, they take the series over to Darkside, and all of a sudden Darkside not looking as comfortable here with only 2 wins in the DPC so far.
And one could argue in game number 1, yeah, Darkside, they had the lead, they had the game, they didn't play it well enough, and then One Move did manage to get it in the late game. This game, One Move, they were in control for the entirety of it. At every point of the game, they had an idea what they wanted to do. There were times when Darkside were getting it back, mainly that one fight, the first Roche fight, where they completely evened out the game. But really, One Move were the one dictating the tempo. They were the ones that had the late game team fight, and they were holding the lead for the majority of this game. And Darkside, I still have to criticize. They tried to kill Munkushi twice. That's why they lost the game. They could have focused on the other ones, but One Move, they were the ones that were offering the Terrorblade all the time. So it wasn't easy to get into the backlines, even with the vision heroes that you have. You can't get it back there. Afterlife just holding, waiting. And when he strikes in the vacuum, and if Munkushi isn't dead, that the fight is done. So One Move, just beautifully done. It all started with that first blood from Minecraft, and I have to say, this guy, he had a hell of a game. He had a hell of a series. Those jukes that he made in the mid lane, all of those little things accumulated in the end. The Darkside, in the last 2 fights, they looked completely helpless.
Yeah, and that will move One Move right up the table there to be alongside Na'Vi in that 6th position. Only Namiga yet to win a series here in the Eastern European DPC, but One Move, again, they play up against Namiga in a couple of days, well, in about 4 days' time, so they could win that Again, Namiga not looking great at the minute. And One Move in a really nice position to leapfrog over Na'Vi, who still have VP to play, who still have Namiga themselves. So we could be looking at tiebreakers here at the bottom of the table. And Darkside, that means that the maximum now they can get is 3 and 4 coming into the final game, which is going to be against Hellraisers. So they're no longer able, to jump up into that top of the table, into those top 3 slots. Only Virtus Pro with a chance of knocking out Spirit, Hellraisers, and BetBoom. And Virtus Pro, who have they got left? They've got Na'Vi and Team Spirit to play themselves. So this could be, we might be looking at here that top 3 already being locked in.
Yeah, probably is the case. BetBoom, Hellraisers, and Team Spirit, they're looking very strong. And I would be very surprised if Team Spirit lose to Virtus Pro. They do have had some, problems. But Darkside, man, I'm going to say, my thoughts about this one is they might not understand the Death Prophet as a hero and how to utilize it. Because they lose against it. The only game they won with Death Prophet was against BetBoom. And that is the game that they were getting absolutely demolished. And then they got back into it, with overdives from BetBoom. So it's not like they were utilizing the hero properly, getting towers, taking the areas off the map, and just finishing the game. It was the other way around. Then they lose to Virtus Pro and their Death Prophet, and usually that is the case. When you don't know how to play one hero, you might not know how to play against it. And we're seeing it here 2 games in a row. Darkside, the Death Prophet just wasn't that big of a factor. Never really able to overtake the game the way that he would want. Those Death Prophets that can't die, that are killing everyone, taking Roches, destroying the map. He just never got to that point, especially in this game number 2, where his middle lane counterpart had the early advantage with the first blood.
Yeah, and one more time before we go, Rob was right. Rob was right. No, but that is going to be the first series over with One Move in a really nice position coming into the final week of the DPC. We're going to be taking a little bit of a longer break here before the second series starts. It is going to be Team Spirit versus Hellraisers, and that is going to be Gary as well as Trent to guide you through that one. But for now, guys, thank you for tuning into this first game, and we'll be back.
Rob was right.
Rob was right, yeah. And we'll be back in about 40 minutes time, I think, for that second series. So we will see you then. But for now, thank you for tuning in. And here's the break.